I've encountered in my life, and I think specifically about the black ones, I can honestly say that there's only been one or two instances where they've been feminine.
I mean, Misfit Patriot, aka the older millennial, I can't really put much stock in what you said because you have a long history of holding on to some white supremacist ideals. So I don't really trust your word for it all that much, but I can definitely say perhaps you should spend a lot more time with black women, because if you talk to many of the white men who have dated black women, you can get the impression that most black women are not as we are often represented as. Because maybe you should start examining the partners that we're with rather than just labeling us as masculine. I am masculine by my experience. But many people who encounter me in the real world when I'm at work have a completely different idea of my personality. I am masculine because of my experience, and it has taken me years to get to the level that I am today.
All right, guys, so I stumbled across this fascinating TikTok that I want to talk about from this guy who goes by the name The Older Millennial on TikTok. And he's a white guy, and he's one of these guys who, I mean, I can say he's not afraid to say what he thinks, okay? And, you know, when you say what you think, especially as a white person in this country, yeah, you're going to get a whole lot of backlash, or specifically a white male, right? Because, you know, you got to beat around the bush when you say how you really feel about, you know, certain things in society, especially when you're speaking on the race conversation, right? You got to be very, very, very careful, right? People going to call you a racist, okay, or a sexist. But this guy, he came out and said something, right, that I think is an interesting question/conversation. He was responding to a TikTok in which the person in the TikTok, a black woman, said that society is making black women more masculine than they actually are, okay? As in, I guess black women are being stereotyped as masculine. And he responds to this TikTok in a way that was very, very, very controversial, especially as a white straight person, okay? So I want to talk about that. But before I get in that, we have to get a word from the sponsor of this video, Teague Hanley. That's why I'm excited to have Teague Hanley as the sponsor of today's video. They have helped me start and maintain my skincare routine by making the entire process uncomplicated. Honestly, it's the best skincare system for guys like you and me. I recommend you start with their level 1 system, which comes with all the basics. A daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin, a 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of dead skin cells, an AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. My favorite part about Teague Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They make the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin easy. Their products have made my skin look and feel better than ever, as I'm already using their level 3 system, which includes an eye cream and a super serum. But you don't have to just take my word for it. They have over 5,000 5-star reviews on their website from satisfied customers from around the world. In addition to amazing skin, members of Teague Hanley get ton of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, pause or cancel at any time, and free US shipping and low-cost shipping to most other countries. And because Teague Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers a great deal. Just click on the first link in the description and you'll get 30% off your first box plus a free gift. Don't miss out on this amazing deal. Click that link and get started today. All right, guys, so without further ado, let's get into the video.
Society has this really weird obsession with stripping the femininity away from black women.
All right, look, I'm sure this is going to get me into trouble, but I want to hear everybody's opinion on this. And please understand, I realize I'm making this observation as a white dude. That's why I want to hear everybody else's opinion. So she says that society is stripping away the femininity of black women. However, throughout my life, I've met very few feminine black women. Like seriously, when I think about all the women I've encountered in my life, and I think specifically about the black ones, I can honestly say that there's only been one or two instances where they've been feminine. The vast majority of black women I've encountered have been brusque and aggressive. And even though a ton of them have been absolutely fucking gorgeous, they were significantly more masculine than they were feminine. In the way they acted, not the way they looked. So my question is, do you think it's society doing it? Or is it just the behaviors of black women in society today? But see, believe it or not, most men wouldn't view that as masculine. See, I think that's a misconception that women think. Y'all think driving tractors, wrestling hogs, going mudding, you think guys would view that as masculine. We absolutely don't. Girls that do that shit are just as feminine as the girls that like to wear dresses and go to brunch. When I say women acting masculine, I mean the way in which they talk to you. Their general demeanor. Because I've dated Southern Belles. And I've dated girls who probably could have been a ranch hand on Yellowstone. They both seemed very feminine to me. And their activities had nothing to do with it. It was just something about the way they talked, their attitude, the way they acted. Still came across as feminine. Even when they were covered in mud from head to toe, holding a 30-06 trying to shoot something. Shit still came across as feminine. But I've met women in bars with nails, makeup, and hair perfectly done that came across masculine as fuck. It's not the activities, it's the attitude.
Yeah, so before we get into this, we got to make clear, like, what definitions are we talking about here, okay? Because feminine is defined as having qualities or an appearance traditionally associated with women of or denoting a gender of nouns and adjectives conventionally regarded as female, the female sex or gender. Now, this guy obviously is not talking about looks. He already stated that. So I think his definition of feminine has more to do with how women act, in the sense that I think he associates aggressive behavior with more masculine behavior. I think his biggest thing is aggressiveness. So for this video, when we're talking about feminine, we're talking about not necessarily how you look, but more how you act, and more specifically aggressiveness. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, just so that we're all on the same page, because I understand that his definition of feminine might not necessarily be the textbook definition. So I don't want people to get confused about what I'm talking about here. Yeah, so I want to chime in on this because I think this is an interesting conversation. Is society making black women seem less feminine, or is it just the way that black women tend to act? Okay, and first and foremost, before I get into this, okay, I gotta give my disclaimer here because I'm gonna be accused of attacking black women when I'm just giving my personal opinions about my observation in life, okay? Because, you know, growing up, I feel like I interacted the most with black girls, black women, whatever, but I have interacted with women of all races, and I can say just straight off the bat, all women of all races, in my opinion, can have a streak of being overly masculine or aggressive if you piss them off enough, right? But I will say without a doubt, black women and Latino women, okay, are definitely the most aggressive. 100%, right? I mean, like, I'm just keeping it 100, okay? That's my experience. And I mean, I just was in Target the other day buying some wine. It's like 8, 9 o'clock at night. And I actually stumbled across the Black Girl Magic wine, right? And I posted this thing on Instagram while I said I should make the white boy wasted alcoholic drink, right? As a response to the Black Girl Magic. Who knows? I might actually experiment with that idea. But anyways, I was going to self-checkout. The self-checkout girl was a black girl, okay? She was a young black girl. And when I was a cashier growing up, you know, older people always used to make jokes when they get carded, right? Because the older you get, the less likely you are to get carded because you just look older, right? So I don't get carded that much, but I also don't buy alcohol all that often, okay? But when I do, you know, I don't typically get carded, right? So I got carded and I made a joke about being carded. And the black girl is just like, she just had an attitude, right? She just wasn't going for it. Okay, maybe my joke was corny, or maybe what I was saying, she was taking me too seriously or whatever, but she was just like, take out your ID right now. Like, you know, showing me your ID. And then like she put in my birthday and she put it in wrong. Okay, and then she just walked away. Was totally unresponsive and kind of rude, right? So, I mean, stuff like that happens, and I guess that could happen with women of any race, and it doesn't even have to be a woman thing. I guess if you're just having a bad day, you're having a bad day. But all that is to say, growing up in school, right? The women that used to get in the most fights were black women. They used to be the loudest black women, the most angry, that cause the most drama. They just happen to be the black women / black girls. It is what it is. I'm just saying. But I think some of that is not in just because they're black, right? It's not inherent to their skin color. I think it's cultural. I think it's how they are raised in their environment that they're being raised in. In fact, check out this response video from this one girl to this guy in his question about black women and femininity. Take a look.
As a feminine black girl myself, I've been dying to have this conversation. And I've been waiting to have this conversation because I was raised by a narcissistic mother. And when I do have these conversations with other black women about, how we got into insecurity and how we got into where we are with how we act or react to things, it all starts with how our moms reacted to us. And I feel like most of us have been in similar situations where we wanted to look cute, we dressed up nicely, and then our mother gave us the most condescending, backhanded compliment, and you knew it was backhanded just by the way she was talking to you. And it doesn't even stop there, because when we get into school, our black peers love roasting each other. We do. We love roasting each other. And we're also our own biggest haters. Simple. I've had multiple conversations with other black women who said that other black girls would pick on them, bully them, and practically harass them because of the way they dressed. So not only are you receiving this bitter hatred from home, but you're also receiving it at school. So now you're questioning, is it even worth it being myself? Because when I am myself, everyone around me tends to treat me like shit. So then you start acting like them.
I think that is what makes a lot of young black girls more aggressive than other girls. Okay? Because again, in my experience, with Latino women in particular, right? Some of them come from more chaotic environment where the house is very loud. There's a whole lot of arguing going on. And women that tend to come from those environments that have a lot of drama, a lot of stuff just kind of going on in general, they tend to just be more aggressive. Okay. They tend to be more masculine. And I'm just saying, right? I mean, that's just what I observed growing up. But again, there are plenty of black women out there that are very feminine, okay? Just like there's plenty of Latino women that are very feminine, plenty of women that are very feminine across the board. I'm just saying that I think that a lot of it does come down to upbringing, right? And how you was raised, what type of environment you was raised in. And I think that is probably where a lot of it comes from. And I can imagine that maybe that guy, he hasn't interacted with a lot of black women enough to meet ones that are feminine. And the ones I think that tend to be more feminine, they're going to come from, I would say, probably more affluent, probably middle class and up families and environments where there's not so much, drama and just crazy stuff going on all the time. So that's my opinion on that. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a black conservative perspective. Peace.